Hello and welcome to the Web3 Talks. My name is Ornella Hernandez and I have a special guest joining me today, my friend Gustavo Montero. How are you?
Hello, Ornella. Thank you for having me here again for a second time.
Yes.
Third time, actually.
That's right. You've come on our show before. Yeah. Always happy to talk to you. And today we have a few special topics to talk about, including sustainability and blockchain, an upcoming event for your firm. But first, let's do just a quick round of intros for those who don't know you. Tell me about Carter Capital, which is an asset management firm that you are the founder and president of.
Yeah, I'm the founder and chairman of Carter Capital. Carter Capital is an asset management firm, but specialized on digital assets. You know, I'm an ex-banker. I used to trade traditional assets. For the last 10 years, I'm only involved in digital assets. That's what we do. We also invest in companies in the blockchain environment or industry, if you will. And we run events sometimes, so we're going to speak about that right now.
Yes, definitely. So given your vast experience coming from the traditional finance world to now being in the Web3 crypto blockchain space, how have you seen the evolution of the markets, of the technology? What do you think has been like the biggest change for you personally within this field?
It's interesting. Well, Ornella, I'm an engineer. So first of all, I come from the technical side. I was a banker for a number of years in the financial area, but in reality, I'm a technical guy. So I like to address that from that standpoint. And we're talking mostly about blockchain.
Yeah.
Really, that's what we're talking about. What has happened in the last few years is simply that the technology of blockchain, which we all know about it, has really come in the market very, very strong and more. And what's happening really is that, particularly in the financial area, the products and services that we used to have in traditional banking are now being offered via blockchain technology. In reality, we're mirroring the same products and services with this new technology, which is much better, faster, cheaper, etc. And so the evolution is very strong, very fast. And right now, if I look at the figures this morning, I think that the value of my industry is around $1 trillion. I think that's the number today, more or less.
That's a good number.
Give and take. Yeah, it's 1% of the world economy, by the way, of the value of the goods in. But it's growing at 20% compounded growth rate. So it's growing fast.
And growing as well right now is the prices in the crypto market. Bitcoin has gone up quite a bit the past few months, and once Bitcoin goes up, the other cryptocurrencies tend to follow, including Solana, Ethereum. And in particular, Ethereum this past week has been performing well. It hit the 2,000 mark, which it hadn't hit in since early this year.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that personally. But I wanted to ask you if maybe you could comment on this activity and maybe what's causing all this activity and why we should look into it.
Well, what's happening with cryptocurrencies is not only the case of Ethereum. Perhaps it's important to say that most important top tier cryptocurrencies are going up, and many of the small coins as well. What's happening is very simple in my view. We have a strong institutional adoption of cryptocurrencies. This actually is not new. We started seeing it a little while ago, but the catalyzer was when BlackRock very recently decided to apply for an ETF, Bitcoin. So that really said the largest asset manager in the world, I think it's in excess of $8 trillion, something like that. The numbers are staggering. Said, we're going in. Then all the other chaps said, oh, we're also going in. So you see all the banks, etc., the JP Morgans of this world, they're all saying we're doing the same thing. So we are looking at institutional adoption. At the same time, we're looking at the traditional banking industry where I come from going wrong. I mean, we lost Credit Suisse. I'm Swiss. Credit Suisse was the second largest bank in my country. We just lost it. It went bankrupt. So we're seeing also a number of other bankruptcies in the US, as you know, mostly in California. So we see these two industries, one going up very strongly, which is the blockchain financial industry, and the other one going down very strongly. So I think that those two curves, if you put them, if you make a graph of that, you see that the situation is very simple. Blockchain financial technologies are winning the battle.
A battle? Is it a battle between
it is
the
a battle. Of course, it's a battle. Of course, I mean, if you take the fact that in the past, many people, including the boss of BlackRock, this is public information, were saying that, oh, this is horrible, yes. Blockchain, crypto, etc.
They wouldn't touch it at the beginning.
The boss of JP Morgan who said that this was nothing. And now all these chaps, all of a sudden, they have their own funds. They have, very strong. They open their own trading desk in crypto, etc. So that's what's happening. So you see the biggest, companies in this world in finance going into the space.
And do you think that's because they just realized that this is the way things are moving, they don't want to get left behind, or because this is the way things are moving, they want to have more? They want to maintain their control in a way.
I'll tell you the main reason.
These institutions. Mm-hmm.
Is because the clients in these institutions went to see them and say, if you don't give me a blockchain crypto option, I'm going to go and see someone else. They're protecting their own clients, their own markets, which is normal. We all do that. But they were there seriously.
So there's demand.
Oh, of course, it's seriously confronted to that. So that's why Carter Capital, my company, is growing so fast, because there's a huge demand for everything we do. It's just that these big institutions, these old transatlantics that you can move, tell them to move and say, well, in 6 months we will do this. Right, they have to move fast now. Otherwise, they're going to lose their markets. Yeah.
Okay, lose their market share for sure. And so, in addition to the financial aspect of things, what do you think personally, given your experience, is some of the biggest global issues that blockchain technology can help to solve, help to tackle?
Yeah, well, we spoke before, Ornella, about sustainability, impact investment. This world has been moving for quite a while sometimes. It's not new, it's just that this have accelerated into digital technologies, all right? And that is happening because, and I'm putting my engineering hat here, this is happening because of the computing power we're getting, all right? So we're doubling the capacity of our chips and sensors to process information every 2 years. We have incredible new computers. We can actually process more data. You spoke about data before.
Yeah.
We can process more data. So that is really where we're going to. We're going into a situation where we can do a lot more things. And that is why we're trying to help the environment with blockchain and data processing.
Okay, so the idea is to leverage data to tackle whether it's climate change or aid, ESG, sustainability initiatives. Okay. And so how are you personally doing that, whether that's in your life or in Carter Capital?
Well, we first of all, we have projects that are tackling that situation. For instance, we now have a project in the Amazonian basin, my own company, Carter. We're going to NFT 100 million trees in the Amazonas. Now, it sounds like a lot, but think that there is in excess of 200 billion trees in the Amazonas. So it's nothing what we're doing.
But how feasible is that?
Well, that's very feasible because we're buying land from the governments there, and the objective is to NFT each tree there, give them a smart contract so that they can never be chopped off ever, all right, after we buy the land and we really buy the tree, and we are trying to give that land back to the Aborigines, to the locals. We want them to be able to keep them. But with this, we can finance them. So we NFT the trees, and the canopy of the trees, we do carbon credits and carbon offsets that will be happily bought by the airlines, obviously.
Who's buying these two?
The airlines.
The airlines,
yeah, they need a narrative. They all need an ESG narrative.
Okay, but do you think the need for that narrative, as you say, where is that pressure coming from? Like, is it just to give in to this idea of social good, or is there more like ulterior motives behind it?
All right, but there are many reasons there. Well, first of all, I hope that they're doing it for the right reasons and not for greenwashing. Let's call the cat a cat. So I'm saying, I'm giving the benefit of that. They're doing it for the good reasons. They really want to help this planet. But there is something behind that's very, very important. You probably know that in the new audit standards, and I'm before being a banker, I was an auditor, by the way.
Okay. You've lived many lives.
Yeah, I'm an old guy, so I've been around. In the new audit reports, there is ESG reports.
Right.
All right. So there is a pressure from the stakeholders to say these companies are they ESG compliant or not? So there is a pressure from the environment, their own sort of markets say, well, you need to do something about the environment, but there's also financial pressure. If you need to report on ESG, and this year you're the best airline in the world, but you didn't do anything about it, how do you tell your customers that that's the case? So I think there's a mixture of everything, but everything going together, and I'm glad about that because that means that we're trying to do something about the environment for real.
Okay, and what other initiatives do you have going on? I know there's an event coming up in Dubai, hosted by Carter Capital, the Sustainable Tech and Impact Investing Summit. What does that even mean exactly?
All right, so this is happening 3 days before the COP28 in Dubai. So Carter Capital, together with the Swiss Business Council of the UAE and the Swiss Embassy, we got together into this, and we're having a summit on impact investment and technology. So what does it mean?
Yeah.
Right? So we will have a number of impact investment technology companies, so that they're using technology to help in the impact investment area. We're going to have them present themselves to investors at a very nice place here, at a hotel here in Dubai. In the room, there are going to be investors and strategic partners. It's a very small event. It's 100 to 200 people maximum. We don't want a large event. We want each one of the people in the room to have a meaning for them to be there, to be of value added. And then we have a number of experts that will come and give us their own views on the business of the environment. Let's call a cat a cat. No? If we don't have profitable companies working on environmental processes, nobody's going to do it, all right? Because that's the way this world works. So we're trying to marry, impact investment, technology in this conference on the 28th, which is, by the way, by invitation only, although we've given your Web TV a few free tickets that you can distribute, but
that
essentially, at the bottom of this page of this interview, there's going to be my LinkedIn page. Anybody can contact me if you wanted to come. It's by invitation only, so you need to get inscribed.
Yes, so given that the event is invite only, it is taking place in Dubai on November 28th. And if you are available and interested, Web3 TV is actually giving out 3 passes.
Is that 3?
Yes, 3 passes to the first 3 people that comment on this video. So make sure to do that if you're interested at the end. And while we still have some time, I also did want to ask where this personal concern of yours for impact investing came from. Yeah. Was there maybe a moment or a memory you can recall that garnered this?
When I was doing my MBA in finance in the States, I was a fan of a guy by the name Jacques Cousteau. Okay. Jacques Cousteau, you don't know Jacques Cousteau, you're too young. This is the very first famous oceanographer, French, based in Monaco. He's the guy that did all the first TV shows on the ocean, right? So I was growing up, I was always watching that. And then I had this epiphany moment when I was in Oregon State and said, how about if I do a master's in oceanography at the same time as doing my MBA in finance, which many, many years ago was totally unrelated.
It is unrelated.
It was unrelated. So I talked to my professors at the MBA school. They were financing me. I had a scholarship with these guys.
Okay.
And I convinced them to do that. So I did a master's in oceanography. I'm an oceanographer and an MBA in finance. Weird, but that's what it is. I'm an engineer, even more weird. Anyway, so yes, I started getting heavily into the environmental issues at that time.
Okay.
Then I was the director of the first COP. That was the Rio Summit. This is 30 years ago. And I was hired to go to Switzerland to do that. It's called also the World Commission on Environmental Development for the ones that know about that subject. So I've been, concerned about this for many years. I think that is an important subject to cover and do something about it. But I'll tell you the most important reason. is because I have a 17-year-old daughter. And I really like her to have a better world in the future. And if we don't do anything about it, she's not going to have a very nice world in the future. So this is the time to act.
Okay. And going back to the event, you mentioned that the Switzerland Business Council.
Yeah, the Switzerland Business Council of the UAE. They are part of the organization.
Okay. So can you explain a little bit more of just the link between Switzerland, the environment, UAE, creditor capital, that relationship?
So I'm Swiss and Chilean. I have two nationalities. Switzerland is the most innovative country in the world. If you look at the indexes, you always see them. So Switzerland and the UAE, these are countries that are absolutely into innovation. The UAE is into innovation. They're doing everything with a fantastic vision for the future. This country, by the way, is great. Not because I live here, but it is a great country. And they have fantastic leaders with a vision for the future. So yes, Switzerland and the UAE work very closely together on innovation and many other matters. And the Swiss Business Council of the UAE is very present in that. If you will, the event we have on the 28th of November is not a local event, I'll call it. This is a global event happening in Dubai on the 28th, and I hope some people will be interested in this. So, a very close connection. Now, Carter Capital is part of the Swiss Business Council. They're one of the companies, and I'm very close to the Swiss Business Council because some of my best friends work there. So, we're doing this together, and hopefully it's going to be a good thing for the environment, for impact investment. At the end of the day, the only thing I care for is it positive? Can we add our little brick in the wall to help with this matter? Hopefully we can do it. We'll try.
Yes, hopefully it will make some impact of its own. Yeah. All right, and so now I'm gonna ask a few more fun, creative questions. So bear with me. The first one is, and get a little imaginative here. What would be a blockchain-based superpower that you could have if you could do anything related to blockchain, any superpower that you've ever dreamed of having? What would it be?
I would be able to predict the prices of coins for the next 6 months.
Well, yeah, I think everyone would want to do that.
If you wanted to give me a superpower, say, what's Bitcoin going to be in 6 months? What's Ethereum going to be in 6 months? And I will redo my portfolio based on that. That would be my superpower, so I can read prices for the future.
I would like that. I would definitely hire you as my advisor if you could do that. All right, next one. If you could go back in time and choose any historical figure to introduce blockchain technology to, who would it be and why, and how do you think it would affect the world today?
Well, I am a strong admirer of Nikola Tesla, the Serbian-American guy that discovered alternative currents, electricity, really. Most of what we see today in electricity is based on what he discovered. He's a fantastic man, and that's why Elon Musk named these cars out of Tesla, because this guy was amazing. So I will go back and talk to him and tell him, in the future, there's going to be a technology called blockchain technology, which is going to be as revolutionary as your AC for electricity technologies, and it's going to change the entire world, mostly the financial world, but not only the financial world, going further. So it will be as revolutionary as your AC discovery so many years ago.
Do you think he would be, he would understand this? He would be open to this?
He was a brilliant man. He would certainly understand it because he was, like the leaders of the UAE, a visionary. He saw the future. So yes, he will understand it. Well, maybe when I die, maybe I'll find him somewhere and I'll chat with him. And I'll tell him, this is what I want to tell you.
Love that, love that. Okay. And now if you could just tell the audience what's the best way to get in touch with you, reach out to you, especially if they want to learn more about this upcoming event.
Certainly. Well, there's a LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is Gustavo A. Montero, but it's also going to be published at the bottom of this interview, I understand. My LinkedIn page or whatever contact. That's the best way to get in touch with me. LinkedIn is really is my main communication system in this world.
All right, and that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for coming on Web3 Talks, Gustavo.
Thank you, Ornella, for having me once more here. It was a pleasure.
All right, and everyone, if you're interested in attending the event on November 28, make sure to comment below. The first 3 people who comment will get an invite to the Carter Capital event on November 28. And thank you so much for watching this episode of the Web3 Talks. So check out other episodes, check out Web3 TV, and until next time, I'm Ornella Hernandez.